I'm on day 30 now of my 30-day carnivore challenge, and 30 days I learnt a lot from it, but I wasn't as strict. I didn't end up being as strict as I wanted. So the first couple of weeks I was super strict, especially the first week. But I sort of screwed up a fair bit in terms of just not eating enough and not needing enough fat. So I've got a list here just on my computer of what I'm going to talk about. Um, there's a few main things that I did learn, and it made it it made it so it wasn't a waste. So now I know how to continue with carnivore, and I know what traps to not fall into. So the first thing was that the first 2 weeks was basically me just battling with crazy diarrhea that I had. A lot of people say that this does happen, but for me, it ended up just being from eggs. I was eating eggs every day, even just 1 or 2 eggs, and I was just getting the worst diarrhea. And as soon as I stopped that, things started to return to normal. And now after 30 days, I mean, my bowel movements are just sort of normal, probably a bit better than when you eat high carb. So I learned that my body just doesn't recognize them as food for some reason. And yeah, so I learned that cheese gives me really bad flare-ups from the skin, and for the histamine intolerance reactions that I get through my heart, and insomnia and anxiety and all that sort of stuff. Also, I figured out how to do it cheaply. So for the first probably 2, even 3 weeks, I was spending a lot of money on meat, just every day getting a kilo or more of whole cuts of meat. But then I figured out if I just get roast meat, so I was getting, I think, top roasts from the supermarket and slow cooking it, and I was doing it about 4 or 5 kilos at a time. It's way cheaper. It's rather than $30 a day, it ends up being about, I don't know what it is, about $15 a day or something. So I cut my food bills in half, which has been amazing. Other than that, the biggest thing is that I stopped fasting. Fasting was a big issue because I was just trying to force in as much meat as possible, and I just couldn't get enough in, and I was still hungry, and eventually I cracked and had a carb binge. So ever since then, I've just been eating whenever I'm hungry. And a lot of people did suggest that when you do start carnivore that you should do that, but I just wasn't listening. I just kept fasting. But in terms of positive effects, rather than all those things that I learned, I'm definitely stronger. My muscles are bigger. My body is stronger. My teeth are way stronger and whiter. That's definitely noticeable. I do tend to sleep better when I stay away from any dairy. I definitely sleep better, and it does seem like my hair is filling out a bit more, like I had sort of receding a bit, and that seemed to get a bit better. Skin is up and down. When I screw up and eat some carbs, it obviously comes back, so I definitely need to be a bit more strict. I'm going to keep on the carnivore diet. I can't imagine eating another way, to be honest. It's just sort of insane to be eating carbs all day, every day, never feeling satisfied, never not being hungry. So I'm definitely going to keep eating it. For me, unfortunately, it seems like I'm basically as intolerant as people like Michaela Peterson, where I can only really eat whole cuts of beef and that's it. I have tried adding in a bit of avocado, which does seem to be okay, just to get some more fat, because I'm really struggling to get enough fat sometimes. A little bit of butter as well seems okay. But yeah, for the next 30 days, I might add in, like I said, avocado every now and then and things like that, but I'm going to try to be a bit more strict, and see how I go. So it was a good experiment. It wasn't as strict as I would have liked to have been, but I mean, over the next 30 days, I'm going to try to remain in ketosis for as much of the time as possible, and just curb these sort of carb cravings that I get sometimes, and everything. So thanks for all your support lately, guys. Your comments have been really helpful. A lot of comments surrounding eating more fat, which I did have to learn the hard way. So thanks again, guys. Cheers.